We are going to continue the story of Daniel today. And it starts out with some people talking about him behind his back. Can you see these three guys kind of talking and maybe cooking up a little bit of trouble? Because that's what they were doing. And that does happen to people sometimes. That sometimes there might be somebody who people get jealous of. And instead of being happy for them, happy that somebody's a really good baseball player, they get jealous of them. Or whether they're happy because in this case, Daniel was a really good administrator. He knew how to take care of the kingdom for the king. And they were jealous because they wanted to do it. And they probably were thinking about how they would have fancy clothes and a big horse to ride on, instead of realizing that it was a lot of work and a lot of hard decisions and a lot of planning that Daniel was doing. And all they saw was the outside of it. So they decided that they were going to try to, I'm getting ahead of the story. Let me read. When some of the other rulers who worked for King Darius heard about the king's decision to put Daniel in charge, they were jealous. Many other people who worked for King Darius were jealous too. They didn't want the king to be proud of Daniel. They wanted the king to be proud of them. And they tried to think of some way to make the king angry at Daniel. "We will never make Daniel look bad," said the first ruler. "He always does a good job." Well, they thought and they thought. Then the second ruler said, Maybe we can get him into trouble because he's always praying to his God." "I think you're right," said one of the king's workers. And they came up with a plan, and they went to see the king. "King Darius, may you live forever," said the rulers as they stood before him. "We've written a new law, and we want you to sign it. The law says that for the next 30 days, no person in your kingdom can pray to any other man or god. They can only ask things of you. Anyone who doesn't obey this law must be thrown into the lion's den." I have a feeling these guys may have heard part of the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, but they didn't hear the whole thing. Remember what happened when those three got thrown into the fiery furnace? Well, here they're making a similar law, and they aren't using a furnace, but they're using a lion's den. It's a good idea to listen and find out what has happened to people before you, before any of us. Because sometimes people have done really good things and they're a really good example for us, and sometimes they've done really bad things and they're really a bad example for us. And sometimes people have tried things and they've not worked out the way they thought that they would work out. And that, well, do I really want to spoil the story? No, I don't. Well, King Darius, he liked the new law. He liked the idea that only he, made him feel important, could grant his people their requests. And so King Darius signed the new law. And there he is, putting his name on the new law on the paper, and it made it official that for 30 days, nobody could ask God for anything or any other person, that everybody would have to ask him for anything that was important. And once he signed the law, they decided to announce the signing of his new law to his people. And he sent out his helpers to tell everyone in the kingdom the news. Well, the rulers were happy that their plan was working. They ran to Daniel's house to see what he was going to do about the new law. That's where we're stopping tonight. Daniel's going to have some thinking to do. Good night.